They're both short, and I had canceled Bruce Aizawa twice, and I didn't have the heart to do it again. And Jim consented to keep his short to less than a half hour. So we're going to have Jim Schmidt come up first and talk about 15 minutes about opera, and then we'll have Bruce Aizawa from LARPD come up and talk about Doc Martin's.
Thank you all for the opportunity here. The video is about to start any second. Meanwhile, what I want to tell you about the video before it starts is, never mind, I'll tell you. Turn the lights down. Everybody dim these lights. I want you to notice the action and the costumes. It makes an opera. Opera's more than music. singers here, some very good singers, but that's only part of opera. What I wanted to illustrate is we try to do the whole emotional show. Imagine what those scenes would have looked like if they were in street clothes on a plane set. So we try to transport you back in time, or if not that, at least build the emotion of the opera into it. Now what I want to talk about is the business side of the opera, rather than the artistic for some time. So how is opera like Rotary? Well, number one, volunteer management. We have no executive director. We do everything pretty much by committees, just like the Rotary. We have a lot of well-functioning people. You run the show for low cost, and so do we. Actually, we have very similar annual budgets. If you think of all your meal expense, your dues, your donations, ours is slightly bigger. So we're a pretty good sized outfit for a nonprofit. And the amount of people we have, if you look around the room, that's about the number of volunteers we have. So all these volunteers do all kinds of jobs, administrative jobs, marketing, at the theater, behind the scenes, the stage, they build the sets, they run the stage crew. A lot of directors we get in just can't believe all these people are volunteers. Let me back up just a little bit. We also, the other thing we have in common, we serve the public while having fun. And just like the Rotary, you can't get a bunch of people just to go out and do good things in the community if they don't feel good about what they're doing and who they are. And that's kind of the feeling we have. So who do we serve? Of course, opera goers who buy tickets. That's what it's all about for us, because without ticket sales, we don't do opera. But there's more to that. We have about a company of 100 volunteers. We like to thank each other. We like to be with each other on events, so it becomes a community of volunteers. We support professional artists. A lot of them are young singers. Others are orchestra. Others are stage people. And we're proud that we hire professional people. And lastly, we go to libraries and especially schools. Our record year, we visited 8,000 students in both Pleasanton and Livermore. That was a record. It's hard to do that, but next slide. Okay, number one, paid professionals are hired to produce opera. This is the business side. We have, if you all wonder where our money goes to, we spend about $120,000 on each opera, so that's around $250,000 a year. Orchestra, roughly 4 chunks. Orchestra, we get them from throughout the Bay Area. There's semi-professionals. Singers from the Bay Area, but we've gone to U.S. Our current tenor lives in Italy. He's a Pleasanton graduate, but he's Marco Stefani. He's in Italy now singing, and we flew him over here to be our lead tenor in this Italian Girl in Algiers, which comes up a week from Saturday. Get your tickets. Professionals. It takes a music director, a stage director, a set designer, a stage manager, supervisors of construction, lighting, costumes, all of those people we pay. If you want good lighting on your set, you got to pay someone who knows what they're doing, and they got to do it quickly. We don't have that much time in the Bankhead. Bankhead Theater, we are in there 4 days getting set up, plus 2 weekends, so that's 10 days. But we pay a good chunk of our money for the theater rental, the labor, and the fees. But we get what you pay for, a wonderful modern theater that's really good for opera. So add it all up, I guess we already did that one. So events coming up. March the 12th, the Italian Girl in Algiers. It's similar to Cinderella. 2 years ago was our best-selling opera. It's a Rossini comedy, a lot of good music, a lot of fun, so we hope all of you will buy tickets. And the stage director is from Santa Fe. He's nationally known. He's directed in New York at the Met, and Santa Fe is his major place. Why do they come up here? Why do they come up here and work for the low fee we pay? Because someone asks them to. It's the same reason with many good singers we get. And often, sometimes they'll be up here doing business at San Francisco Opera, and the business is over, then they direct for us. So we play every angle we can. Okay, big deal for us. Next year, our 25th anniversary year, 25 years. And by the way, 25 years and never in debt. Doesn't mean we didn't lose a little bit in the worst recessions, but we've never been in debt. What's new? This time, we're doing Opera and Vineyard 2 locations this summer. We've sold out Retzloff, and we're tired of turning people away. So we're opening up another one at Nella Terra Vineyards in the foothills across the freeway from, toward the summit across the freeway from Sonoma. It's a beautiful place. If you've never been there, buy a ticket and come and see Opera and Vineyard just to see the vineyard. July 17th and August 1st. And the biggie, we're doing our first Wagner opera. The good news is, it's Flying Dutchman. And the good news is, it's beautiful music and mercifully short. You don't have to sit through 4 hours or 4.5 hours, which I've done for a Wagner opera. This one's about normal length, 2.25 hours, 2.5 hours, or something like that. And let's see, I'm way ahead of time, so I'll tell two little anecdotes. Speaking of Wagner opera, I was at Opera America conference in Los Angeles, and one of the persons there was the county commissioner who had helped Los Angeles develop the opera company a lot. So I mentioned an anecdote. After a Wagner opera, they went down to see Placido Domingo in his dressing room. And he was kind of in sweat and telling this man's wife, "You don't know what it's like to sing 4.5 hours of Wagner." And she blinked her eyes a bit and said, "You don't know what it's like to sit through 4.5 hours of Wagner." I'll tell you, my last story is kind of an opera story too. People ask me how I did this leg thing. Well, I went skiing. That was the start. And at lunchtime, I was eating lunch struck up a conversation with a stranger. And before long, I was telling him all about the Italian girl in Algiers and this and that. And he'd been in show business a bit, so he was interested. So we got ready to leave, and he says, "It sounds like you're going to have a really good show. Break a leg." So with that, I'll take a couple of questions if you have any, about any aspect. Yes, Linda?
Aren't you going to announce the Ruby Hill
Ruby Hill.
25th anniversary?
Oh, yes, we'll be doing, our 25th anniversary will be at the Ruby Hill Country Club, or Ruby Hill Golf Club, I guess they call it. We're doing one of those every 2 or 3 years. This will be the most spectacular one we've ever done. We'll have singers, food and wine. Did I miss anything?
January, right?
It's in late January. The last Saturday, I think, in January. And if you want to know more of what we're doing, just go to the website and look up all of our events. Okay, well, I think, question?
Jim, how can somebody be part of the chorus if they are, especially men? We need more guys in the chorus. How can they go about doing that?
Well, and contact me. Since you're all here, you know me, send me an email and say you want to sing. We're going to have some auditions, but I'm glad you mentioned that because Wagner's a bit intimidating. We have to have somewhere like 18 men and probably 10 women or so. It's always fairly easy to get women, but the men are a bit harder. And we're going to have some auditions, I think, in early April, probably again in May. But the main thing is, get all to me, and I'll make sure it gets passed on. We'll also watch for the independent. I think we're going to have a story that kind of built around. The chorus will probably be, for us, the hardest thing to assemble for this particular opera. We can usually seek out good Wagnerian singers, and we pay enough that we can attract them. Not the famous ones, but very competent ones. Okay, well, thank you all.
Can I get the lights turned up here? Somebody turn the lights on.
Say whatever you like. Say please.
There we go. So the second half of our program is one that's close to my heart. And I want to quote from this book, The Dog Lover's Companion in California. And it talks about Maxbury Dog Park. And it says, on summer evenings, as many as 25 to 30 dogs enjoy the park. Everybody loves it, says veterinarian Martin Plum, who was behind the park's birth in 1993. And you people thought I was just another pretty face. In 1992, one of my best clients, somebody had dropped off a stray dog. He lived out on Tesla Road. It was a long-haired dachshund, and he kept coming in with foxtails. And he said, I can't keep this up. I got to find a home for this dog. And I really liked it. I said, you know, I'd like to have him. He's just a great dog. And that dog really changed my life. We bought a tent so we go camping, and I bought a tent trailer and a motorhome. And we would go every Sunday over to Marin, over to Mill Valley, where there was a dog park. So I think, why can't we have one in Livermore? And I went to Bill Payne, who was a member of our club and was director of the LARPD at the time. And I said, Bill, I'd like to have a dog park in Livermore. He said, I've never heard of a dog park. I said, well, call over there. And he did. They said, they're great. We were able to get a spot, Max Bear, and they gave us a 1-year temporary permit, and a temporary fence was put up. And then I got the Bell Val Dog Club to donate $9,000 for the permanent fence. And from that, grew a whole bunch of other dog parks in Livermore. And Livermore now has more dog parks than most cities in the Bay Area. So I'm going to bring Ruth Aizawa, who's in charge of the dog parks for LARPD. Bruce is a graduate of Berkeley, and he's been with the LARPD for the last 5 years. Bruce, please come on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the great lunch. This is more fun than I thought it would be. So, like Marty said, we consulted Hibbett about, I gave this presentation to our board of directors about 6 months ago, but before we did, we talked to Marty about how the dog parks were started, and he gave us the information that he just gave you. And I didn't know that, and it was really good. I used it speaking with our board of directors. I'll give a brief overview of LARPD's dog parks, what the rules and some of our concerns, and then we'll go into specifically each park, what it has, and so I'll get started. So as you can see, we have dog parks throughout the whole city. There's 7 of them. So compared to other, as Marty said, local communities that are either the same population as Livermore or larger, they only have like 1 to 2 dog parks. We have 7. For example, the city of Fremont has 1 dog park for 220,000 people. We also have allow dogs off leash at our Camp Shelley site. Here's some of the features we have at some of our parks. And we have different surfaces for the different parks. We have natural turf, dirt, and mulch. So each one of our dog parks has the rules and posted on a sign, and these are our rules. Here's one of our well-trained dogs. Here are some of the concerns we have at the dog parks. Some of our maintenance activities at the dog parks are turf mowing, which we do weekly, March through November, and then every other week, November through March, weather permitting. We try to pick up the debris at least once weekly, some parks quite a bit more. And our rangers patrol the parks and enforce any rules that may be, all the rules at the dog park. So I'll go through each specific dog park alphabetically. This is Bruno Canziani, located on Charlotte Way. The dog park is in the lower right corner of the picture, outlined in yellow. It has a turf surface. The brown area on the left is, that lawn is supposed to be, it's actually not a playable lawn. Was originally designed for a retention basin. So when it rained, if it does, it would retain it and then filter the water through the storm drain. But it looks like a lawn, so the irrigation is not meant to keep it as a high turf lawn area. So we do get brown areas in that lawn. It's over an acre. Our next park is our newest park. It has a wood fiber surface.
Where is that?
This park is located on Portola Avenue, right below Las Positas College. It has two separate entrances, one for large dogs and the other for the small dogs. And this is our first park that we used mulch surface. This is Marlin Pound Park, located on Bluebell Drive. The park's in the lower outline in the yellow. This park also has two areas, one for large dogs, the other for small dogs. The small dog area is 19 pounds or less. This is our very first dog park. This one's located on Revere Lane. We have a dog park at Maynison, located on Rincon Avenue. It's right next to the library, well, right set back behind the library in Maynison. We have a large dog park at Robertson Park. This one's at the Robertson Park Road, across from the artificial turf fields. It has two areas, the westerly section and the easterly section. We use the westerly section, we close it we close it for the dog use, but we open up the easterly area is always open for dogs. But when we have the rodeo and some large soccer events, we close the westerly area for parking, and the easterly area will always remain open. We have just installed new, as I was telling Marty, dog amenities in the easterly area where it has hoops for the dogs to jump through, platforms for them to play on. So it's been completed and it's very popular. This is our dog park at Vista Meadows, located on Westminster Way on the hill. It has a great view up there. You can see the Pleasant inside. Very nice park. So these are some of the things we have added to the easterly area of the Robertson Park, and some of the things we're going to plan for and add to our other parks. And I'd like to see more parks and more dog parks in our existing parks as well. This last October, we had an event called Dogtoberfest. It was held at the field behind the Robert Livermore Community Center, which is not a dog park, but there was a lot of people that came out with their dogs. It was very popular. Thank you. Yes?
On a typical day, how many dogs use the parks?
Well, that's a good question. The weekends are a lot more. And Robertson Park is a 4.5-acre park, and it may not look like there's a lot of dogs, but there are. So I would say at Robertson, we may have 15, 20 dogs on a typical weekday, and maybe double or triple that on a weekend.
How do you enforce the rules on vaccinations and licenses at so many parks?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, some rules are there, and enforcing them is another thing. So, you know, we can't. It's hard to enforce all those rules.
Yeah. What liability is there for the city and for other people if two dogs that are friendly get in a fight and/or someone gets bit in the process?
The liability for the LARPD. I don't know that question. I don't think we have. If the dogs go in and it's an accident, or they're you know, if they're known to be vicious, then that can be a problem for the person that owns it. I can't answer that question.
Okay.
Maybe I could address a little bit.
As I work with Bruce.
We're self-insured along with a lot of other recreation park districts in the JPA. And so the dog parks, just like all the rest of our parks, are part of the liability, the insurance that the district has in running the park and recreation operation. We have signage at the dog parks making the dog owners responsible for the behavior of the dogs. And dog owners are responsible for their own behaviors too. So I think that's about the best we can explain it.
These are all ARPD, park district activities. Yeah.
We manage the parks. Some of those parks may be owned by the city, but we manage them.
You own all those parks, the land in all those parks?
Not all the parks. The city may own. I think the city owns most of them. We have Robertson Park, the big one. That's LARPD. But some of them are owned. Most of them are owned by the city.
So since Livermore has more dog parks than other neighboring communities, what are the factors that kind of influenced making dog parks a priority in our community?
Well, I've been here for 5 years, and since I've been here, it was the Pet Alliance that wanted a dog park at Robertson Park, and that particular park was driven by the Pet Alliance group that wanted to see more dog parks in the city. Prior to that, you know, Livermore was on the cutting edge because most of those dog parks are fairly old. So it probably were the citizens that wanted more dog parks next to their houses.
And it says, when we first opened Max Bear Park, Bill Payne and Doug Dale said they couldn't believe how many positive comments they were getting from the public about the dog parks. Of all the programs LARPD had, the dog park was their biggest compliment. And there were people coming from Alamo, Danville, everywhere, because we were the only dog park in our area. And then from that grew dog parks all over the place. But it's amazing to me how many dog parks expanded in Livermore from that little thought of having a dog park at Max Bear Park. And Livermore to be proud. People come to these dog parks, and and while the dogs are playing, they start talking to each other, and friendships are formed. And it gives people a place to go that are lonely and single. They can always go to a dog park with their dog and meet other people. It becomes a meeting place for people. So they're wonderful social avenues for everybody.
Questions?